You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, last fall, Protect Our Parks filed a lawsuit against Obamaland, essentially. A lawsuit to prevent Obamaland's, what they call illegal land grab in Jackson Park, 19 acres of Jackson Park being turned over to the Obama Foundation to create this wonderland of Obamaland. We're all obviously looking forward to that. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to have golf course. You're going to have green spaces on the roof.
Yeah.
There might be a bar there. Ice skating in the wintertime, sledding.
So what kind of right-wing fanatic would attempt to rain on this lovely parade that's being planned with the advent of Obamaland in Chicago? Another great feature to keep people in Chicago and Illinois. Tourism dollars, could you imagine, the world over? It's going to remedy all of our problems, from unfunded pension liabilities to confiscatory property taxes. All will be solved, much as it was by President Obama, by Obamaland. So what on earth would possess somebody to prevent the ushering in of a utopian era in Chicago? Herb Caplan is the president of Protect Our Parks, and he joins us now. Herb, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it. Hello, Herb.
Herb.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to describe what the lawsuit is all about.
Sure.
First of all, it has nothing to do with being right-wing or extreme or anything. It's not. The lawsuit is not political. It's not racial. It simply has to do with protecting something that's a gem in Chicago. You know, a lot of people don't realize what's happening in Jackson Park. It's actually an attempt to steal public park land for what is essentially a private purpose that will not serve any of the objectives that are being described by its promoters.
Well, the objectives described by its promoters are what, and why will it not serve those purposes?
Well, the whole project has been presented like it's going to be some sort of investment that's going to create income and jobs and prosperity for people living in Woodlawn and South Shore. But the location of this Obama Center in Jackson Park is actually destructive of what is an amenity for people who are living on the South Side. If the Obama Center were built actually in a neighborhood that's in need of investment, where it would actually create new jobs, new businesses, new jobs, new opportunities, it would be altogether different. And our lawsuit is not opposed to building an Obama Center. The lawsuit is only directed to the fallacy of building it in a historic, landmark, dedicated public park property. Yeah. And by trying to put this Obama Center in Jackson Park, it's stealing public park land from the taxpayers who pay the park district to maintain and support the park system, including Jackson Park.
Well, where do you think Obamaland should be built?
Well, there's so many other really ideal locations, actually, on the South Side. The University of Chicago was one of the instigators of building the Obama Center in Jackson Park. But the University of Chicago owns all sorts of property in Hyde Park and Woodlawn and adjoining areas. There's property right now that's just to the west of Washington Park that would be ideal for an Obama Center and would also serve to regenerate and stimulate the neighborhood in which it would be located, and at the same time would not be taking away from public park property or the recreational needs that the local citizens need as well.
Well, that's a policy argument. I want to make sure we just button down the legal argument per the complaint that you filed, your organization has filed, why this is unconstitutional. I think you started to reference it before. It's because of the landmark dedicated park space designation of those 19 acres, yes?
Well, that's right. Well, that shows that Jackson Park is not just another piece of vacant land in need of development. It's something that has been recognized as a unique accomplishment of Frederick Olmsted. Jackson Park in Chicago is often equated with Central Park in New York.
Would and now, where does the lawsuit stand at this point?
Well, the city has finally answered the complaint, and but they've also filed a motion to dismiss the complaint on the theory that the federal court doesn't have jurisdiction to hear it, and that the plaintiffs don't have standing to file a lawsuit.
All right, I get it, Herb. All right. So, what do you want?
We're saying that the whole deal was conceived in secret. It was never, the decision to build anywhere on the South Side was never open to the public. It was secretly contrived between the mayor and other parties.
Herb,
and the mayor, as you know, was the former staff assistant to former President Obama. So he has a personal interest that has nothing to do with the public interest.
Herb, what neighborhood do you live in the city?
Well, I lived in Hyde Park for about 20 years.
All right.
I'm presently living in Lakeshore.
Okay. Well, so what if we got your property taxes lowered? Would that satisfy you? Could we make this ugly lawsuit go away? What if we did that?
No, it has nothing to do with taxes per se. Although there's going to be a misuse of public money by supporting the construction of an Obama Center in Jackson Park as opposed to building it on private land that's available for development.
Well, Friends of the Park got the Lucas Museum idea yanked, thank goodness, because we sold that land to them for $1. What do you think your chances are?
Well, before we filed the lawsuit, we researched the law, and we determined that there's actually a number of Illinois laws, including what's in the Illinois Constitution, that prohibits the use of public land and public property for a private purpose. And so we think legally that we're on sound ground, and that and since the only issue is whether the Obama Center should be built in Jackson Park as opposed to any other location that's available on the South Side, it seems to me it's very simple.
Well, Herb, these things are sometimes a bit complicated. Let me try another. If, say, someone were to get you a signed copy of Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, would that encourage you to dismiss this ugly legal business?
No, it wouldn't. But let me tell you, this has nothing to do with Obama. If this was like the Trump Presidential Center, would that make a difference to people?
Yeah.
No, you're right. That wouldn't last for 2 seconds. It wouldn't even.
The issue is not the identity of the person.
Yeah.
It's the location of the construction.
Right.
Jackson Park should be protected against anybody trying to take away what is dedicated recreational public park property for some personal use.
All right, Herb, you're driving a hard bargain. I get it. You're dug in. What if we cut you in the concessions at the city casino? What if we cut you in for a couple of points on that? Is that now? Are we getting somewhere? Can we?
That's another issue. If they want to build that city casino on public park property, we'd raise the same objections. The public parks are for recreation and to serve the needs of the local citizens. It's not for commercial development.
What about
it's not for the purpose of generating revenue?
Bribe.
What about a marijuana dispensary? That would be recreational in nature.
I've begun to wonder whether this whole idea of legalizing marijuana is not an attempt to dull the minds of the electorate so that they won't realize what's being done to them behind their back.
I think that's already happened. I think we're past post on that, Herb. All right, well, he is Herb Caplan. He's the president of Protect Our Parks. He's a principal guy. I mean, we couldn't do a deal here today. I'm a little disappointed.
No, all I'm saying is I just hope people remain alert enough to realize that there are laws to protect distinguished landmarked areas like Jackson Park. And if we allow Jackson Park to be trashed, the next thing is they'll want to build a Disneyland somewhere on the lake
Don't
shore.
give them ideas.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great. Disneyland on the lake? Sure, that'd be fun.
Well, right. Well, like I say, some people get carried away by these ideas of how to make money, and they do that at the consequence of destroying something else that's more valuable than making money.
Yeah, they'll bring back Riverview.
Well, Riverview was a great asset,
back in the day.
but it wasn't on public park property.
Herb Caplan.
Because I'm looking at pictures of Jackson Park, and what about that Japanese garden just south of the Field Museum? They're not going to touch that, are they?
Well, we don't know, because buried in among the prints of the city ordinance is that the Obama Center has the opportunity to expand its footprint as needed.
There you go. You give them a mention, they take a foot.
That'd
be well, that's it. It's the camel's nose kind of principle. Yeah.
That'd be a good.
Once you violate that principle, there's nothing to stop them from taking over Jackson Park or for taking over all the park systems and commercializing.
Well, I mean, it'd be a good spot for solar farm. Solar panel farm. I think that'd be nice there. Herb Caplan, president of Protect Our Parks, he's taking on Obama land that developed the 19 acres in Jackson Park that's scheduled for development by the vaunted Obama Foundation. Herb, thanks so much for joining us. The website, protectourparks.org, if you want to follow the case and or get involved. Herb Caplan.
Yeah, and I suggest people look at it because there's a lot of interesting material that we put on there that people will find informative and instructive.
All right. Herb Caplan, president of Protect Our Parks. Herb, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Sheet metal is